Hey guys, episode 4. It's been fun getting here. I've been sitting for 5 years with my faith kind of in a little bag next to me, not going anywhere, not taking it anywhere, not putting it anywhere. Sort of living in faith that it's there, or living in confidence that it's there, and so it feels good to sort of open up the bag and say, where am I now? What do I believe? And I can't tell you enough how unshaken I am about what I believe, how much more confident I am about what I believe. Leaving the church didn't mess me up. Just in case you're a person thinking about it, it didn't mess me up. Jesus didn't go anywhere, and I didn't go anywhere away from him. So today's terrible question, it's a little tricky to try to figure out how to word it. So, back to the story. If you look at the story of what's called the woman caught in adultery, that we're calling the men caught with rocks, when I read the story again today, I was really surprised. Actually, I had always been told that story, or just remembered that story as Jesus coming upon a stoning. So, he kind of like was walking down the street and goes, oh, look, people are about to stone somebody. But actually, the story says he's in the temple, so it's the temple court. It's not some random baseball field. It's a temple court, and he's teaching, and the Pharisees drag this woman in and say to him, we've caught her in adultery. Moses said we should throw rocks. What do you think we should do? Isn't that fascinating? Judgment is used as a way to trip up Jesus. They're always asking him to judge somebody. Always, always, always. When I read it again today, I noticed that handful of sentences later is the moment where, so Jesus is in front of all these people who are thinking about following him. They're checking him out. The professional Christians come in with the lady to stone. Then they turn tail and limp away, feeling bad about themselves. And the woman's left looking around. I'm thinking she sits with the group. I don't know, I wasn't there. And he looks at all the people who are left who are thinking about following him, and he says, I don't judge anyone. He literally says that right after this moment. The header on that is Jesus' testimony, Jesus' testimony questioned. He's saying he's God and that he ought to be listened to. But that's not all he says. It's not, that section isn't just about him being challenged. What he says in that section is, I do not judge anyone. I do not judge anyone. Why is that not clear? I literally don't get it. I mean, I haven't gone to seminary. I haven't spent 80 gazillion hours in a classroom talking about texts. I've spent, a lot of time in a Sunday school classroom with a cracker in my hand talking about the Bible. But if I had studied this academically, how would I not notice? How would I not notice that every time a professional Christian brings a challenge to Jesus, Jesus says, I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not here to help you straighten out your old laws. I do not judge. So why? 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 All you gotta do is read the story. I do not judge anyone. Here's what he says you gotta do. You gotta love your neighbor as yourself. And before that, you just gotta love your God with your whole heart, soul, mind, and strength. All your insides gotta be pointed to Jesus. That's it. That's it. He also says, a couple paragraphs later, you're gonna know the truth, and when you know that truth, it's gonna set you free. Because it's such a It's such a story of constriction before that. It's such a story of following the rules and then following the rules about how to follow the rules. And man, I think the church is missing the boat. I think the church is hurting people, and I think the church is missing the boat. Jesus says, I don't judge anybody. And I think he literally says it in that tone of voice because he's been so barraged. The professional Christians keep coming up to him and going, what about this? What about this one? And then he goes, I don't. And then they go, what about this thing over here? What about this thing over here? And I think finally when he gets to that verse, I think it's sort of like, I don't judge anyone. Whenever we were hearing the flannel graph stories, I always imagined Jesus is sort of like on like a microdose of Xanax. I do not judge anyone. Kind of like Rasta Jesus, stoned Jesus. I think Jesus was like a little stoned in all those stories that I heard in terms of the tone of voice that we imagined. Know the truth, and the truth will set you free. But I don't know. I mean, if we believe in his humanity, at some point he had to turn to them and go, I don't judge anyone. 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 Come here. I don't judge anyone. 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 So, for years and years, I was a youth leader, and I spent gazillions of hours and days at summer camps and winter camps. You eat together, you do, things like huge food fights with 200 people. You just have wild, free fun. And then you listen to somebody talk about Jesus, and then you go back to the cabin and you have cabin time. And I remember I would say, everybody on the floor, we gotta all scooch in here together. Nobody hiding up on the bunk, nobody listening from the bathroom, and all circle up. And I wish there's a way we could all circle up around this. I wish we could all get in the same room and ask the cabin time question. And I think the cabin time question is, what are we all so afraid of? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid might happen if you open your arms completely to somebody who's different than you are? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of protecting, church leader? What are you afraid of risking, young church leader? What are you afraid of losing? What are you afraid of? You're a young leader maybe in the church right now. You don't want to take a stand because you don't want to piss anybody off. You have to. You do. I'm so sorry. We need you to risk it. We need you to risk taking a stand. We need you to risk standing for kindness and love. We need you to do that. if you're afraid to let yourself say, you know what, people are people and they come in all sizes and flavors. And some of those sizes and flavors are super gay or beautifully trans. If you're one of those people, man, you know what? Stop taking Jesus hostage. You're totally the guy coming out of the bank robbery with your hand over Jesus's face going, I'll shoot him! I'll shoot him! I swear to God! If you really have to decide that you know who the creator of the world should decide to love, man, own it. Just own it. Don't blame the Bible or the God of the universe for your need to feel right, for your fear, for the conviction you have in your faith that's really based upon the words of some guy who is in charge of your church. Don't blame that on Jesus. Don't make him your kidnapped hostage. Jesus doesn't deserve the blame. I'm just looking to see if there's something here that that would go in my eye. This is in my eye. It's a small log, but it's a log in my eye. Ow, ow, this is big log in my eye. Ouch, this is in my eye. Ouch. Hey, stop doing that other thing. Ow. Oh. This has been Ginger Hendrix. Terrible questions. Coming to you from an uncomfortable chair in my own backyard. Still uncomfortable, still in my backyard. Still glad you're with me. High five.